I just got to talk to you about choosing signals because this is so confusing and fucked up, and I do not get what so many of you guys are pandering about talking about the subject. I mean, honestly, I want to in this video give a very straight laced sort of just analysis. I don't care about who said it, but what I want to do is I want to examine how choosing signals are going to actually work for you. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog's mindset. Click that subscribe and join us, all right? And then also make sure to take the Bulldog quiz. It'll be up here in the corner. And yeah, it'll give you a nice score and tell you if you're a Bulldog or not. All right, so this keeps on coming up, all right? And, you know, I had an interview with AMS, and he had a good explanation of what he was saying, because he was saying that he wasn't against cold approach. Totally cool. Totally respect the guy. He's got a lot of great advice. I still think that he skirted a little bit around the topic of choosing signals, because that's not what really, you know, because I said, okay, we disagree on choosing signals, and then he went into the whole idea of going out and having fun for yourself and having a good time, which I totally agree with, okay, for the most part. It's like when you're trying to learn something, and in that being the way that things work, you know, so that makes sense to me, all right, but what I want to talk about, again, I'm not trying to call out AMS on this. He's, you know, I didn't disagree with anything that he said when he said those things, okay? But a lot of you other guys don't understand what choosing signals are, and you're wrapped up in this whole idea of that it's beta, okay, to cold approach. Okay, so this is what I just want to ask you guys, okay? So let's just say, you know, just a random guy, okay? He's got some swagger, all right? We'll give him swagger. Decent looking guy, okay? Well dressed, okay? Wearing some expensive clothes. He walks into a bar. How many women are like checking him out and giving him choosing signals? I want to know, because I don't think it's a large number, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand what they are, okay? I understand, you know, just like that glance that she gives you. But most of you guys aren't able to interpret that, first of all, okay? And second of all, a lot of times girls are just not even paying attention. They're just doing their own thing. So what are you actually doing? Okay, I mean, are you walking into bars and you're just getting all these choosing signals and then you're just choosing? I mean, how do you actually think this works, right? The reason why I say this is, again, all of you guys that are really big fans of the choosing signals, they're saying that this works. You don't have a lot of success with women. You don't have a very high lay count. Let's just be honest with you, because it's not possible. Okay, okay, because you don't understand how it actually works in the real world. Okay, because if you could be in the shoes of a guy that does get choosing signals, okay, you would find that even that guy doesn't get that many, right? If you could be in the shoes of an extremely successful, financially successful, you know, wealthy guy that has more than above average good looks and, you know, a banging physique, all right? And you went into an average venue, you would see a couple of girls looking, but you would not get the kind of choosing signals that you think. I mean, just because some girl shows some kind of choosing signal that you're interpreting does not mean that you're going to have success with that girl, because the logistics may be off, okay? She may just waste your night. In fact, that's very likely to happen. Not only that, but it's not some badass bitch, right? Like, I mean, you're not seeing some 9 or 10 that is paying any attention to you. Yeah, you could be a 10 out of 10 guy, and then a 10 is not looking your direction. Believe me, it's just not going to happen. So again, I'm just, you know, curious here. What do you guys think? How do you think that it actually works? Okay, that's why cold approach is so important, is because that's the only way you're going to get the shit done, right? At the end of the day, what matters is your actual success and the goal that you're trying to achieve. Okay, so if you're trying to achieve the goal of, let's say, getting laid, it's not going to be effective looking for choosing signals. That's not going to be the most efficient way to accomplish it. You're going to, most of the time, go home by yourself, okay? Maybe even 100% of the time for a lot of you guys that are never going to get choosing signals in your life, right? I mean, what if you're a guy that's not going to get choosing signals? It doesn't matter what you're fucking wearing. It doesn't matter how much swagger you have, okay? You're short and you're not good looking, okay? You're not going to automatically get choosing signals. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. So what are you going to do? You're going to be an alpha guy by just standing there and not making anything happen? No, you're going to be an alpha guy by going up and making shit happen, by going up and talking to girls, right? It's not beta to go up and start conversations. You say, oh, well, it's chasing women, it's chasing. No, you are a hunter, okay? You're the predator and she's the prey. Being the predator does not make you beta, going after the prey, okay? Yeah, I've just had enough of, like, I don't understand where you guys are coming from with this, because you're not operating in the real world, right? If you're out there actually operating in the real world, like I know it feels comfortable to say that, oh yeah, I only do choosing signals. I know that makes you feel good because you're afraid to go and do cold approach, and it puts you in what you perceive as a weaker position, which it does. Like, there's some vulnerability because you're facing a rejection. True enough. But it's not going to get you results, right? I mean, show me which one of you, the guys that are claiming all this shit. And I know you're talking some big talk here, but I know guys that get results and I know guys that don't get results, okay? In fact, the guys that I know that get the most results are the guys that are most unabashed in their cold approaching. They're the ones that run cold approach all the time. It doesn't matter the circumstance. It doesn't matter the girl. They just fucking go after it. Those are the guys that get the most results. And not only the most results, but the best results, the highest quality results. So that's ultimately what it comes down at the end of the day, right? It's not about what you think about yourself or how you look doing it. It's about actually accomplishing the goal. And that's the thing, is it just blows my mind. It's just so bizarre to hear so many guys that are talking about this like they have experience, like they actually are having success. Because like I said, I could be wrong, but if you're one of those guys that is claiming that choosing signals is the way to go, I want to know exactly how your night goes. And then I want to know what you do after you open, okay, when you've gotten the choosing signals. Do you think that's just automatic? Because I haven't heard any of you guys talking about that. Because what happens after that? Okay, and how are you pulling there? Are you just getting the number and your number closing? And you're like, oh yeah, she gave me choosing signals and I number closed and I'm the shit. Because I think you're missing a whole part of the game. Because, the guys that I'm working with, they're pulling on that night. And they're doing that from a cold approach, not from a choosing signal approach. So if you think that, like, you got the number and you're being successful, you're full of shit. You're not successful at all. That number isn't worth shit. I mean, 1 out of 20 numbers is good. Like 19 of them are going to flake for most guys, okay, unless you're really good, and it's just unlikely. So yeah, so let me know, honestly. Like, I want to hear you guys rebut this, because I think the bullshit has gone on long enough, right? Like it's an indefensible position, right? Like, show me how it works. I just want to see how choosing signal game actually fucking works. It's like it's a magical unicorn that doesn't actually work in the real world, because a lot of you guys haven't ever actually pulled like in the real world, so you don't have any fucking clue about how it works. Again, not trying to like insult you, but you're just full of shit. Like you think it works this way, and I get it. Like I get it that you're like, oh yeah, this makes sense because someone's telling you this, and you're like, oh yeah, that logically makes sense. And yeah, it's beta to go and approach. Yeah. Why would you do that? Why would you chase after girl? Like, I totally get that. The mindset makes perfect sense to me. But in the practical, actual, real world of application and getting results, that doesn't work. Because if you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go and hang out with my buddies at a club and buy a $1,500 table and we're just going to have a good time by ourselves. Okay, have a good time. That's fine. And I agree that you should do things like that. But if you're consistently doing that, you're not going to get results. It's not going to be just enough that you're some dude who's dressed fairly well with some swagger having a good time at a club. It's the bar is so much fucking higher than that. And you're just not going to get results. So I don't know how else to put it. And so for you guys that are like on the fence that you don't know, I mean, what I could say is if you think that choosing signals work, okay, then two things, right? Okay, one, you need to be in the top 10 or 20% of good looking guys. That otherwise you're just not going to get any choosing signals. So if you're not in that percent, if you're in the bottom 80%, then you can't even do choosing signals. So you might as well just fucking abandon that idea in the first place. And I know that most of you guys commenting, you're not in the top 10 or 20%. Okay. You're not even in the top 10 or 20% of money. You're not even the top 10 or 20% of swagger. Like you're in the top 10 or 20% of nothing, basically. So, I mean, you're maybe being a YouTube commenter. That I will give you. Okay. So it's just not going to work for you. Okay. And then let's say that you are in the top 10 or 20%. Okay, good. If you want to actually figure out what works better, I'll just give you a challenge. Okay. Go out for 2 weeks. Okay. Like 3 or 4 nights a week and do nothing but choosing signals. Okay. Keep track of how many girls you talk to. Keep track of how many number closes, how many F closes you get. Okay. How many dates or whatever, like whatever you want to track. Track all just track it the same. Okay. And then do 2 weeks, same number of nights out, and do cold approaches, as many cold approaches as you can. And why don't you see which one is more successful and which one you have higher rated girls with that you have success with. Okay. And report the results back to me. And if you report back and you're like, oh yeah, the choosing signals absolutely won, you'll have a believer out of me. I will convert to your religion. Just show me the data, and and I will convert to your religion. Okay, I promise you. I won't even argue. I won't even question the data. Honestly, if you have reasonable data and you did the work for it, but if it works out in my favor in the idea of cold approach, which I have a pretty good idea that it will, then what the fuck are you talking about? Right? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't see how it works. Right? Again, like I said, you show me how it works, and I'll be cool with it. But I can show you exactly how cold approach works. I know exactly how that works. It's pretty damn fucking simple, right? You just see a girl that you like and you go and talk to her. And if you screen her for logistics, you figure out what's going on, whatever you want to accomplish, she's into you, or you get her to be into you within a short amount of time, you stick in there. If not, then you screen her out and you go and look for another one. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's going to work a lot because it makes sense and it doesn't rely on luck and other people taking initiative. You're taking the action as a man. Whereas the other way, I don't get it. It just requires some luck. You just stand around and hopefully you get lucky. I guess you call choosing signals like getting lucky. I mean, that's all I can say about that. Because I think, again, like I said, I think there's some delusion in your head that somehow you can be like this guy that, like, in a random environment, that women who don't know you are suddenly interested in you just because you walked into the room with some swagger. Okay? It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all. It's just the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard of in my life. It just doesn't make any sense at all. So, all right, guys, that's all I got. If you haven't already, check out the Bulldog Mindset membership below. It is a $7 trial to get in for the first month. And then we got a lot of awesome content in there. Everything from videos I can't put out on YouTube about game and pick up and stuff like that, to building a business, investing in real estate, finances, all kinds of stuff like that, fitness, my fitness programs, as well as live Q&A, book club, all kinds of awesome stuff. Go check it out. And like I said, guys, I know some of you are like really upset about the whole choosing signal thing, but hey, let me know. I am open to learn. I know I'm coming at you from the perspective of having done this for a long time, knowing a lot of guys, having worked with a lot of guys, and seeing actual results, as opposed to like a principle of, oh, this is beta. Okay, because you can hold on to that principle, but if you're not getting results, then yeah, it's not it doesn't matter. So the question is, show me the results, show me the money. Okay, if you can't show me the money, then you got to shut the fuck up.